see if I can do this without electrocuting myself. So, this chapter is called A Piece of Friendly Advice. And I'm not really going to give you any backstory, except suffice it to say that it is late June, and this is for anyone who did not go to their senior prom in high school. Or even if you did go, it's still for you. Oh no, of course you're not bothering me, dear. Please, come right in, have a seat. It gets so lonely for guidance counselors during Regents Week. Really, I'm so glad you dropped by. I don't believe I've had a chance to extend my warmest congratulations on your acceptance to Vassar. How wonderful that you... Oh, I'm sorry. You know I meant to say Thames College. So many students, so many schools to remember. Well, well. But let's get down to business, shall we? What brings a senior with all of her exams out of the way to my office on such a beautiful afternoon? I see. Oh, absolutely. Your class president gave you the correct information. I am the guidance counselor in charge of refunding returned prom tickets for this year. But are you quite sure about this, dear? Your class worked so hard over the past 4 years to raise money. I mean, it's not every year that our seniors hold their prom at the Plaza Hotel. Have you ever been there, dear? I see. Well, it must have been quite a wedding. I mean, the Plaza. Breathtakingly exquisite. Nancy, I can certainly sympathize with you. Breaking up with your boyfriend less than 2 weeks before the prom can't be the most desirable of circumstances. But is it possible that the two of you could come to an understanding? Say, to attend the prom as friends? Plenty of students do that, you know. And you must have already bought a dress. I knew it. Well, wouldn't it be a shame to have it go to waste? I'll bet it's just beautiful. Oh, so that's who you... Oh, my. Listen, dear. Just between the two of us, Craig Fleschel does not deserve to graduate with the rest of your class next week. But I also feel compelled to add that it will be a relief for all of us at Stepping Stone High when the new school year begins without his presence. Nancy, please don't look so distressed. I just didn't put it together with your situation right away. A nice girl like you who never caused any trouble before. How could I forget how you and he... I mean to say how Craig Fleschel followed you around school last week, put up those nasty signs in the cafeteria, vandalized your locker, and made you late for all those classes. Well, it was all over the faculty lounge. You can't be surprised about that. And for our own principal to put a restraining order on that boy and not have it work is simply shocking. I'm afraid it made up for a rather unfortunate final week of your final year at Stepping Stone. How are your parents, by the way? Such lovely people. But this whole mess is in the past now, isn't it? Classes are over, you have no more exams to take, so you won't have to see that horrible boy ever again, except at the graduation ceremonies, of course. Now, I understand why a pretty girl like you would prefer not to attend the prom without a date, but what about going in a group? Did I mention that's how a lot of your classmates are doing it? 7 or 8 students often rent a limousine for the evening, and there are no date pressures whatsoever. If you ask me, it sounds like the best way of going to the prom. I see. Well, dear, if most of your friends have stopped talking to you because they feel sorry for the likes of Craig Fleschel, they couldn't have been such good friends to begin with, could they? So, let's move on to Plan B. Oh, by all means, there's another option for you. Nancy, dear, I understand you want a refund, but won't you let me try to help you? Just give me a minute. I could have sworn I saw the list on my desk this morning. Here we go. Now, you see here before you the names of 4 names of young men in your class, all advisees of mine, who have each visited me within the past week because they do not have dates for the prom and for various reasons are not going in a group. They have all of them, stressed that they would go to the prom with any senior I happen to find for them, as long as that person could wear a dress. Do you hear me, Nancy? Why, a girl as attractive as you would be a prize, and you, of course, would have your pick. Mark Rabinowitz, Dan Silver, Seth Rivkin, or Glenn Rubenstein. And any one of them, in my opinion, would make a wonderful date for the prom. Oh, listen to me go on. I feel like an absolute yenta. Perhaps it's just part of being a dedicated guidance counselor. I truly care about what happens to my advisees after guiding all of you through 4 years of high school. Proms are just so magical. And I believe that your class is going to have the finest one ever. The plaza. My goodness, what a send-off. You shouldn't miss it just because of Craig Fleschel and your insensitive friends. Who cares about any of them? You shouldn't let that beautiful dress hang in your closet. Nancy, I will only take your ticket back on the condition that you take this list home with you. If you'll notice, there is a phone number listed right next to each boy's name. Now, if you don't come back to me by, let's see, today's Tuesday, why don't we make it Friday afternoon? That's the day before prom. I promise that I will send a refund check to your home address. But will you think about what I said? I've been a guidance counselor at this fine school for 23 years, for longer than you've been alive, come to think of it. So won't you grant me a certain amount of knowledge? All right then. I hope to see you back here very soon. Oh, one last thing, dear. Just think of it as a piece of friendly advice. Forget that I'm your guidance counselor for a minute. Now, personally, I think Dan Silver is the best looking of the bunch, but he's on the short side, so if you decide to call him up, do plan on wearing low heels. Thank you.
Okay.
And I am wearing my lowest heels, so Dan Silver, if you are in the audience, please find me after this.
Yeah.
Thank you.